Anglo Thadou-Kuki War 1917 to 1919. All neighboring countries went for British slaves or labor corps except the Kukis. The Kukis unitedly resist British occupation inside Kuki Independent Hills country. That resulted in Anglo Thadou-Kuki War 1917 to 1919.
Copyright Associated Asia Research Foundation, ARF, Kuki War of Independence or Anglo Thadou-Kuki War 1917 to 1919 by Dr. T.S. Hokipletkasai, published by International Research Journal of Human Resources and Social Sciences ISSNO, 2349 4085, ISSNP 2394 4218, Impact Factor 5.414, Volume 4, Issue 12, December 2017. Website www.arf.asia. Abstract: the Kuki movement against British aggression into their territory began in 1777, culminated to the Kuki War of Independence, the so-called Kuki Rising of 1917 to 1919 The extensive preparations for the ensuing confrontation with the mighty British involved mobilization of forces and declaration of war according to Kuki custom reflect the nationalistic character of the event. The Kuki Rising was a part of the First World War, marked by a momentous offensive against British colonial rule. In the Second World War, Kukis, under the leadership of Pupakang, alias Japan Pakang, and the Indian National Army, INA, led by Subhas Chandra Bose, sided with the Axis powers to free their lands from British domination. The victory of the Allied forces, however, led to the division of Subhas Chandra Bose's motherland into India and Pakistan, and trifurcation of Kuki territory, Zalangam, the ancestral land of the Kukis, among India, Burma, and Pakistan, resulting to the imprisonment of 11 Kuki war hero chiefs from present-day India and another 11 Kuki chiefs from present-day Myanmar, Burma into Andaman and Nicobar Islands cellular jail for 3 years each and 4 years for Kuki Raja, Chengjapao Downjal, eldest Kuki clansman. Introduction: the Kukis were a fiercely independent people, never in history ruled by any other authority than their noble chieftains, who also reigned over the entire hills in Manipur, parts of Nagaland, parts of Assam, Tripura, Chittagong Hills tract of Bangladesh and Sagaing division of Burma prior to the advent of the British. The colonials ordered to go to France as Porter was deeply resented by the Kukis, and thereby confrontation between the two arose on account of the latter's refusal to comply the order for want of freedom or independence. The two great Kuki chiefs, Chengjapao Downjal of Ain and Lukhamang Halkipat Pash of Chasat, who was also the head of the Halkip clan, took up their responsibility and initiative for Zealand Gam. They organized political meetings at regular intervals, with a view to form an alliance against the common enemy. In one of those meetings, feelers were sent to Bengali militants. Positive response was given. Major Gen. D.K. Pallet had recorded in his book, Sentinels of the Northeast, Bengali Nationalist Organization, BNO, from Sylhet and Kashgar sent emissaries to the Kuki chiefs of the southern clans encouraging them to resist the high-handed methods of the British. Meetings after meeting were held subsequently, attended secretly by Bengali nationalist militants. The Kuki chiefs were informed that British colonialism was deeply resented by various countries and kings. In addition, at that time, the Axis powers of Germany, Japan, Austria and many others had agreed to wage war against the British. This had greatly encouraged the Kukis, and thereby hectic preparations were made to fight the mighty British. Keywords: colonialism, aggression, Porter, freedom, war, militancy, Kuki. Preparations for war against the British. The Kuki chiefs made preparation for war against the mighty British with utmost care and enthusiasm to protect their ancestral land from the British colonialist. Priority was given to manufacturing of guns and explosives known as pumpia cannon explosive, made from the skin of a mithun, also called sulvan. Cole. L. W. Shakespeare has given his description about Kuki cannon explosive, in his book, History of the Assam Rifles. Relationship was also made with the Germans, hoping that the war in Europe would be won by Germany and that German force would be sent to India to extend military assistance. An oath of commitment ceremony for waging war, to begin the war against the British, a ceremony of an oath for waging war, called Sajamla, was performed. All Kuki chiefs and Kuki populace were alerted about the declaration of war. Information was given to the whole region where Kukis settled, covering Eastern Sector, Chasat area, Northeastern Sector, Burma Sector, Upper Burma Sector, Southern Sector, Western Sector, Jampi and Liaijang area, Northern Sector, Athabung area of present-day Nagaland, and Assam Sector, North Kashgar and Karbi Anglong area. In the meantime, two emissaries were sent to German leaders and a secret agreement was made between the Kukis and the Germans that arms and ammunitions would be sent to Zealand Gam Kukis in their war for independence. In pursuance of the secret agreement, the following points were agreed at the meeting held in the first week of March 1917 at Ain village, commonly known as Ain Meeting. In the meantime, war message and signal locally known as Thinkola was sent. This was passed on from village to village. The Zukuki chiefs such as Gulun, chief of Hengtam, Langzakin and Laga accepted the message of war, Thinkola and joined the Thadou-Kuki chiefs. Hengtam and Gotingkot were the two main centers where Kuki army men from Zu tribe operated in collaboration with Thadou-Kuki chiefs in the region. It is said, Lenkom, Thangchan, Henthang and Thanglian got killed in the Muoram episode in an encounter with the British troops. At this tragic event of the death and casualties on the part of Kuki army, the deceased group terminated its active participation in the war before the end of the war in 1919. Further, the messenger was passed on from region to region up to Chinhis of Burma with the following order: 1. All Kuki people should take part in the war. To ensure their participation, all Kuki chiefs should assemble in their own area and perform Sajamla, oath of commitment ceremony. 2. If any chief was unwilling to take part in the war, he would be dispossessed of his chiefship and his village burnt down. 3. Every village should start stocking arms, ammunitions and gunpowder. 4. Every village should be fortified. 5. Every village should stock food grain. Consequently, regional meetings were held one after the other in region-wise. The first regional meeting was held at Chasat, attended by 22 regional chiefs, followed by the Jampi area meeting, attended by 10 regional chiefs of the region. This was succeeded by the meeting of Longa area. Altogether, 14 regional chiefs participated in the meeting. Apart from the above order for war preparation, an order was also issued by the eldest Kuki clan chief Chengjapao Downjul of Ain, who was known as the Kuki Raja, that no Kuki should respond to the call of the British to go to France, but rather they should all make preparation to wage war against the British. In the meantime, Tintong Haokip of Laijang was made commander-in-chief of the Kuki force, and the war between the Kuki and British forces began with immediate effect throughout all Kuki inhabited areas of present-day Manipur, Nagaland and up to Burma in a series of battles in region-wise. Impact of Kuki Rising 1917 to 1919 in Burma and Lushai Hills, as stated above. The message of war or war messenger, Thinkola Malka, reached Burma within a week. The first to receive Thinkola Malka in Burma was a Thadou-Kuki chief, Kamjahan Haokip, chief of Phalanjang village in Burma. The messenger was passed on to Thadou-Kuki region of Burma, and then to the Hakka chiefs. The message was further passed on to the Sukt, Tlasan, Huango, Sazang, Zahar, Kamar, Tluntlan, Sakwa and Gungil tribes and chiefs of Chinhis. In Burma, altogether 11 tribes participated in the British Kuki War of 1917 to 1919, declared by the Kuki chiefs of Zalingam, present-day Manipur, upon the British at Ain meeting. The war between the mighty British and the Kukis in Burma escalated to the maximum. The British troops were sent to Hakka chiefs of Chinhis and Thadou-Kuki region in Burma, resulting to burning down of 18 villages. The message of war could not be passed on to the Lushai Hills from Chin Hills on account of 3 reasons. 1. 2,100 young Lushai men had already gone to France to carry out the order without any resistance in 1916. 2. Due to full-scale war garrison, movement was impossible. 3. No enthusiasm in response of war declaration from Zalingam, present Manipur, where they were not present personally and physically. However, the British forces defeated them at the close of 1919. The main reason for the defeat was inferior weapon of the latter. To put up in a nutshell, altogether 4,302 guns were collected from the various tribes and chiefs of Burma, who at last submitted themselves to the British. It is stated that in Burma, all the warring tribes except Thadou-Kukis submitted to the British authority. An illustration of the list of guns collected from various Kuki Chin tribes in Burma is shown in the table below. 1. Gungil 553 2. Hakka 605 3. Hakka, Southern Tribe, 944. Huango 76 5. Kama 307 6. Sizang 433 7. Sukt 348. Sakwa 149. Thadou-Kuki 123 10. Flintland 490 11. Tlasan 255 12. Zaha 40 total 4,302. It can be concluded that Thadou-Kukis are patriots defending their rights since the very beginning from 1917 till imprisonment into Angyai Jail Burma, Saidia and Andaman and Nicobar Cellular Jail in 1919. 4,000 young men from various tribes of Chinhis were forced to go to Europe, from Chittagong via Akyab Rangoon to France. On the side of lush high hills, 2,100 Lhasa young men have already gone to France voluntarily to help the British forces to carry out the mission of evacuating the wounded, loading and unloading of military supplies of World War I. It is to state that the stated war had little effect in lush high hills except in its southern parts covering up the Bornu-Tawantu and Latet and Gaffhai localities. British Kuki War casualty. In their 3-years-long armed conflict between the Kukis and the British, the official record, quoted by Don Morgan Kipchen, Understanding the Kuki Rebellion of 1917 to 1919 and its true story, goes as under. According to Don Morgan Kipchen, 73 British soldiers killed in action and 151 wounded, no missing in action and 477 soldiers died of disease. This preposterous, as a 2-years-long armed conflict, the British Army and military police would have definitely lost no less than 350 soldiers killed in action and around 500 wounded in actions, at the sure and steady hands of the exceptional sharpshooting Kuki militiamen armed with around 1,000 to 2,000 muskets. As a part of full-scale military expedition, most of the 477 British troops who died as a result of gunshot and booby trap injuries have to be coined as killed in action. The underlying fact is that the final operations were conducted under the command of 2 generals, whose 2,500 British troops, with the support of another 1,500 Burma military police, as a part of World War I, indicated the awesome respect grudgingly shown by the Empire to the fighting skills and tenacity of 1,500 ill-equipped Kuki patriots. In addition, altogether 970 guns in India and 600 from Burma were captured from the warring Kukis, and 86 villages out of 198 were burned down by the British. Both British India and British Burma joined hands together to fight the Kukis. Altogether over 5,000 weapons were said to be captured by the British. The armed conflict between the Kukis and the British came to an end in the last part of the year 1919, after burning down all the fortified conclaves of the Kukis at the following headquarters of Chasat, Longyear, Lonpi, Mombi, and elsewhere. However, against odds, the Kukis nonetheless fought valiantly for 2.5 years and lost the war honorably to the British. A tabulation chart of British troops' war casualty according to Cole L.W. Shakespeare, and the corresponding Kuki version of British troop casualties during Anglo Kuki War 1917 to 1919, locally known as Kuki War of Independence 1917 to 1919, is given below. Trials and sentences of the Kuki chiefs and war commanders. After burning down all the fortified conclaves of the Kukis, the war came to an end. All Kuki chiefs were captured alive and imprisoned in Imphu jail for further trials, subjected to severe punishments and torture. In the first trial, prison sentences of 15 years each was made for 11 Kuki chiefs, including 20 years each for Kuki Raja Chengjapao Downjala and General Tintong Haokip, the commander-in-chief of Kuki Army. A sample copy of one such warrant arrest memos for 11 Kuki chiefs of present-day Manipur in India and another 11 Kuki chiefs from present Myanmar Burma, signed by R.E. Holland, Secretary to the Government of India in the Foreign and Political Department, dated Delhi, the 8th of December 1919, in conformity to the orders of the Governor-General in Council and the provisions of Regulation 3 of 1818, is pasted here below for easy references. That goes as under. 2. The political officer, Sadia Frontier Tract. Whereas the Governor-General in Council, for good and sufficient residence, has seen it to determine that Chengjapao, Chief of Ain, shall be placed under personal restraint at Sadia and within a radius of 2 miles from the office of the political officer, Sadia Frontier Tract. You are hereby required and commanded in pursuance of that determination, to receive the person above named into your custody, and to deal with him in conformity to the orders of the Governor-General in Council and the provisions of Regulation 3 of 1818. By order of the Governor-General in Council. Dated, Delhi, the 8th of December 1919. SD/R. E. Holland, Secretary to the Government of India in the Foreign and Political Department. The warrant arrest memos of all other Kuki chief warriors can be referred from the books Zalingam, The Kuki Nation, 1998, and The World of Kuki People, 2018, respectively. Here in the following, British troops' war casualties during Anglo-Kuki War 1917–1919 in India, Western Zalingam, and Burma, Eastern Zalingam, as per British record and Kuki version is as under. 1. No. Of officers killed in action, British version 2, Kuki version 10, 2. No. Of officers wounded, British version, India 1, and Burma 4. Kuki version, India and Burma many British officers wounded. 3. No. Of riflemen killed in action, British version, India 47 and Burma 38, Kuki version, India 350 and Burma 150. 4. No. Of riflemen wounded and died later, British version, India 84 and Burma 99. Kuki version, India, uncountable and Burma many. 5. No. Of porters killed in action, British version, India 7 and Burma nil. Kuki version, India and Burma several. 6. No. Of porters wounded and died later, British version, India 393 and Burma not wounded, Kuki version, India and Burma many died and wounded. Total, India 533 dead/wounded and Burma 142 dead/wounded. Fig 1, Warrant Arrest Memo Kuki Army General, Gen. Tintong Hakip, Commander Kuki Army, 1917–1919. Fig 2, Warrant Arrest Memo of Kuki Raja, Chengjapao Downjal, Kuki Head Clan, 1917–1919. Source, London Library, Great Britain, United Kingdom. Warrant arrest documents of 11 Kuki chiefs from Burma and 11 from India, Manipur, extracted from London Library, Great Britain, United Kingdom, UK. Also see, Zalingam, The Kuki Nation, 1998. In the Eastern Zalingam, the present-day Burma/Myanmar, Kuki chiefs and leaders were detained in Homelin, jailed and tortured. Altogether 11 chiefs under the leadership of Kamjahan Kip, chief of Phalanjang, were sentenced for 15 years each imprisonment in Tungia jail in Burma. However, in the second trial the previous term of sentences passed were reduced and 3 years each imprisonment in the cellular jail of Andaman and Nicobar Islands was passed for 11 Kuki chiefs and 4 years for Chengjapao Downjal, being the Raja, eldest clan chief. On the side of Burma, 3 years each imprisonment in Tungia jail for 11 Kuki chiefs was sentenced. who were later shifted to Andaman and Nicobar Islands Jail, which served as a colony of convict. With the attainment of independence by India and Burma in the year 1947 and 1948 respectively, Zalangam was divided into two parts, India and Burma. The Kuki people were further divided into India and East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, when Bangladesh got sovereignty. Conclusion: in the post-independent Burma, Kuki leaders' appeal for Kuki statehood was denied. Burma's offer to create a Kuki Naga state was not acceptable. In India, the Kuki Chiefs Association, formed during 1930s, was officially changed into Kuki National Assembly (KNA) on the 24th of October 1946, to pursue a similar objective of sovereignty, were later reconciled to settle for Kuki statehood. However, their appeals to the government of India went unheard, claimed Kuki leaders. Hereafter, the Kuki people joined the Mizo National Front (MNF) movement in 1960s, to integrate their inhabited areas into the present-day Mizoram state. Concluded. Produced by Zalangam Media. Thank you for watching. Please watch, like and subscribe Zalangam Media.